home decided to watch some TV, listening to the news by Gordon Mosley. Listening to the things that he say he tracking tonight, paying close attention to make sure I hear it right. But when I hear the things that he mentioned on the news, I had to declare them kind of thing got me confused. I hear some things where the ERC noticing, and it convinced people that people ain't learning nothing. We hear so many times about them big name calling, and they say ERC pretend that they didn't learn nothing. But once you're black and you just decide to say a word or two, bet your life on that, they say ERC coming for you. Listen to the things you just hear on social media. Only one set of people allowed to talk in one Guyana. I still say nothing, black people in learning. But this is my concern. I hope one day black people will learn. ERC that I would like to know, if any of his members happens to be black people. And if that is the case, I want them to answer this call. Tell me how come none of them ain't got no voice at all. You're showing signs of weakness and you're afraid to be fair, and we see the same thing keep happening year after year. And the day will come when all this nonsense will stop. That will be the day when black people decide to wake up. Not so long ago, something terrible happened. This young Indian man want to kill out all black people by poison. But if his shoes was on the other foot, would have been a big threat. But up to this day, this ERC can do nothing as yet. How come it's only black people committing cybercrime? When pretty on social media fussing people all the time, I still say black people in learning. But one day will come when the entire table will turn. Excuse me, see they fail to condemn, because these people think that the law is only for them. And anybody else who decide to file a complaint, they go call you a racist and don't want to hear nothing. Plenty complaint from time to time has been brought to their attention, but because of this one-sided cybercrime is why they don't show any concern. There's only one set of people that they really care about, and black people must take the abuse and shut them out. Kidaki Amsterdam went to court just recently for an issue that was highlighted by the same ERC. And with breakneck speed, the police decide to jump on his case. Without a search warrant, they went and search up the man's place. Let us all agree that black people under attack. Different laws for you and me just because we black. are still singing. Black people in London. To all my black friends, we must put a stop to all this nonsense. Cybercrime laws to keep people silent, just to make sure nobody criticizes this government. And while that is a very clear case of dictatorship, it is no surprise that the ERC ignoring it. Why only the chosen few is allowed to have things their way, when people like me and you must have nothing to say? And when ministers in the government start to launch their attack, you never hear this ERC come out and talk about that. They send a policeman all the way to New York. This fella went up there to serve a Tulsaman on Rick Fallmark. Under this government decide to fabricate a case, but like they forget the warning they get from Latisha James. The vice president described that he used as a low life. Because of this kind of abuse, he don't have a wife. I still singing. Black people in learning. Just the other day, I hope your man see help is on the way.
All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongley, looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work. But everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place where you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is, Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. Thank you. All right, so you might be wondering where we are, still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching the blind, matching the carpet, matching the this, matching the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely, if you want to come and you may be having a wedding or whatever, and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're gonna be drunk, we got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. Also, for those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page, and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's it.
Don't be a victim. Beat the heat with EC Crystals. Party ice in large and small quantities. Call 682-7981 or visit us at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. EC Crystals, pure party ice. Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabresa, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rob Street, Border. Are you hosting an event? Do you need ice, party ice in large or small quantities? Then call us at 622-5933 for the best party ice available. $1,000 per bag. We do delivery. EC Crystals, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Call to have your orders filled today. Planning a party? Worry no more. We have all the supplies you need. At EC Party Rentals, we have folding chairs, folding tables, square tables, round tables, long tables, short tables, big tables. We have chairs, red chairs, gold chairs, white chairs, crystal chairs, chairs of all type, throne chairs. What you want, we have. Food warmers, coolers, ice, beverages. At EC Party Rentals, we have what you need to have a good time. You plan the party, we do the work. Call us 622-5933. Easy Party Rentals. Let's keep your party going. Are you hosting an event? Do you need ice, party ice in large or small quantities? Then call us at 622-5933 for the best party ice available. $1,000 per bag. We do delivery. EC Crystals, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Call to have your orders filled today.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Ramveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
From park arrival speeds of work to quarantines or sons, where children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to foil the shock of rude invader who violate our earth, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's frame. Freedom or everlasting worldwide committee. Your people whatsoever breathe, may you are polity, with one forever changing, with all nations unity.
The year 2nd of June, 25 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. Welcome to the program. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. How you been? How was your weekend? What did you do over the weekend? How did you use your talents over the weekend? What were you able to achieve over the weekend? Were you able to rest and recuperate? How are you feeling today? Refreshed and ready to go to the mill again? Ready to put your shoulders to the wheel again? Ready to do that? Those slave hours again, 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 8 to 4. Slave hours. Remember I told you last week, those were slave hours coming out of the period of apprenticeship. And they still are. Are you prepared to do them today? What motivates you to do them? Is it just because you got to eat the bread or because you're compensated adequately? Let me remind you, nobody gets paid for time. They get paid for value. What is your value to the system for which you work? That is how they pay you. Good. A hitman might take 15 seconds to complete a job and you will get hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is based on how he values his services and how his employer values his services. So add value to yourself at all times. Please do add value. I usually say one of the things I fear about us African Guyanese or African people, I always talk about Ghana because this is where I know. I can't say that I've experienced the world and I can really talk about people in their cultural, in their locale, and so on and how they behave. But I know one of the problems, and it is a CXC time, so it is a good time for me to raise this discourse. I usually say one of our problems in this society is that, and while I focus on African Guyanese and our issues and so on, I think it's a societal problem too. As soon as our children have finished writing CXC and they get 5 subjects, 6 subjects, 10 subjects, whatever, the next step for most of them is to go and work. It's to go and work, go and get a job. Things hard, things tight in this home. I did just praying for you finish CXC. So you could go and work and either take care of yourself or contribute to the people of this home. Because the money I used to spend on I gonna know, ensure I could spend it on maybe things that this home needed a long time ago, or maybe your siblings. And the trap there is that we find ourselves in these low-paying jobs, these entry-level jobs, and we're getting a pittance. And because of the slave hours to start with, we don't feel motivated, energized enough to get out there and add value to ourselves by improving on that entry-level qualification which we have. And so if you look across the public service, if you look across the private sector, you'll find a whole lot of our people are employed at the lowest level, at the basic levels, simply with that entry-level qualification. So when I say add value to yourselves, I'm saying that we have to do better than that. If it is, you have to make that sacrifice to ensure that your children, your offspring, your relatives get more than that CXC subject. Please do it. Because understand this. When your child, your relative, your offspring is going out there with 5 CXC subjects, 10 CXC subjects, they are competing against thousands of other persons who first and foremost are out there with the same number of subjects, 60 subjects and more. What separates you or your child from the crowd? What will separate your child from the crowd is if he or she has had value to his or herself by having more than that 560 subjects. How do you do that? Do you have a technical skill along with that 560 subjects? Did you ensure that your 560 subjects has a spread in that you have a foreign language, which means that you're bilingual, you can speak English language and you can speak Spanish, French, Dutch, Portuguese, whichever one. Especially in the Guyanese society, a foreign language sells, especially if you can speak Spanish or Portuguese, if you can understand any of the two. Because our society now is welcoming a whole lot of Spanish speakers from Venezuela, and definitely we've always had a good relationship with Brazil, and so we have Portuguese speakers here. So did you ensure that your child at least did one foreign language through school? Or just the basic maths, English, social studies, science, and some other ignorance? I say ignorance loosely because no academic subject is ignorance. So the child who gets the guidance in terms of the spread of subjects to choose, despite he or she might have 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, just like your child, has an edge on your child because his or her subjects were carefully selected, especially looking at where the society is going and planned. I remember when my son was doing 6, and even my daughter, I sat with them and I say, listen, technology is it. You got to ensure you do information technology. Ensure you do a foreign language. Right? You will do the regular maths, English, social studies, and science. But after that, social studies, after that, information technology, after that, a foreign language. So immediately you got 6 subjects there. And that 6 subjects can carry you a distance. Now, if you want to do more, you're going to work. You have to understand how to manage your money. You have to understand how to invest your money. Why not principles of business and principles of accounts? Right? And that is why I advise my not only my biological children, but my students in the past. And so when they go there to compete, they ain't competing with just 5 or 6 subjects. They're competing with a spread that will make them able to function even at the basic level in different sectors, different areas. But don't stop there. Like I said, send your children further along. Get technical education. If you're interested in technical education, get technical education. Don't go work, get technical education. Or if you want to work while getting technical education. And preferably work in a field that you are studying. So by the time you complete the academic aspect of it, you already have experience in it. I remember again, and I like to use my children because they're closest to me and I can talk about how I groom them. And my son completed university. Computer science. He was ahead of many of his peers because by then I'd already taught him a lot of practical things in relation to networking, especially. He knew how to crimp, he knew how to provision devices, he knew a lot of things. And so from the time he hit the work floor, I remember he did an internship at a particular agency. And by the end of the first week,
The other agency came and told me, why you didn't tell me your son will do all these things? This man ain't want no supervision. This man know what we about. We got to put it to work. Right? We have to give our children the head up. So it's CXC time. Let us add value to them. Let us not just allow them to come out with 5 or 6 CXC subjects and then they go on and work. Because remember, the mill would like to keep you and your children just there on that mill. And so they will give you hell to get time off, to further your education, to get time off, to improve your skill, to get time off, to add value to you. Because once you get further educated, they know that they got to be talking about more money for you when you're done with that. Right. One last example of what I'm talking about. My adopted son. He too went into, I think he did information systems. Same computer-related education. And he, through the goodness of one of my neighbors, I think, started working with a government agency because they needed, I think, a procurement clerk or something. He's seeking catches on while going to UG and so on. When he went for the job, he made it known that he was at university, and there's certain times when he will have to leave early to go to university. The agreement was there. We will give you the time off to go to university. And then as he was coming down to his critical years, a lot of final exams and so on, is the time they start giving you a hard time. Sometimes you get time off, sometimes you get time off. And he decided, nah, but I gonna quit. Because I gotta get this education. This education is going to empower me. And he quit the job. Why am I saying that? Because how things are set in this country, especially, most of the state agencies, if not all of them, are headed up now predominantly by Indo-Guyanese. And then Bonnie wants to see no young Afro-Guyanese trying to do better. So they're going to put all the spokes in your way to keep you right where you are, right where you entered. And I'm saying to you again, add value to yourself, add value to your children. You don't fall for that trap. If we're eating salt and rice to send them to secondary school, let me eat salt and rice for 4 or 5 more years and send them for higher education, tertiary education. At the end of the day, it's going to be beneficial to all of us. That's my point. Good. That was my encouragement to you, but now let me talk politics. Big time politics. How y'all do? How y'all pass the weekend by? I see that big independence rally and so on. What is that? Independence parade, no? In Queens, it's Queens, New York, somewhere in the USA. Y'all had a lot of fun. I hope y'all had a lot of fun. I got a glimpse of the family of Adriana Young partaking in the parade there. I also got a glimpse of maybe her siblings in the cockpit of an aircraft. And I said to a friend of mine and say, wow, look at the opportunities these or family members are getting now. In difficult circumstances. Would these opportunities have been provided to these children if they had expressed the desire to have these opportunities even while their sister was alive? Ask that. I look at our society and I say, it's hardly likely. Because our society doesn't place much store on encouraging our youths, I don't place much store on giving our children the opportunity to really push the envelope to see where they can get to. And so I'm happy, even in these trying and sad times, our siblings are getting this kind of quote-unquote exposure. And I know this exposure, this cooperation that they're getting from everybody, or a lot of people, the support they're getting from a lot of people, is in an interest of quote-unquote numbing, right? Numbing their pains. Numbing their pains. But however else these opportunities come, I trust that they make a real positive impact on their lives and they help them to aspire for greater things. And I hope society supports the aspiration to greater heights. What's the problem, partner? They from program. Hi. Morning. Hi, good thanks. Yeah, good neighborly relations. My neighbor telling me I got some banana that's ripening over the fence and so on and so forth. So it means I got some banana to eat. I mean, I want banana to buy, I got some banana to sell too. I got the old people principle these days. Whatever you got in your yard must pay your taxes and so on and so forth. So why not sell a few hands of banana and contribute to paying the taxes? You know, the land can take care of itself. We just don't know what to do. Yes. So I hope that, you know, they get to higher heights. I also see people cussing them. Yeah, wait. I see people cussing them. This family is making a lot of money from the death of young Adriana. Do you actually believe that any family, yeah, Peter Sellers, do you believe that any family would rather lose a child to be replaced by money? I don't know. But I'd rather eat salt and rice with my picnic than exchange them for any amount of money. And given the choice, Flash is saying is black people saying that I've seen more Indian people cause this family than anybody else. Given a choice, the Youngs would prefer to see Adriana in front of them every single day. As quiet as they say she was, as happy as she was, as obedient as she was, even if they got to eat salt and rice. Money coming as a result of this tragedy to this family, quite frankly, is an added burden for me. Because every time somebody comes and they say, well, listen, I'm contributing $10, $5, $1 to this cause of you fighting for justice for your child, you are reopening a wound. You are reopening a wound. And so I know this family would prefer see Adriana in front of them than any amount of money. I remember as a young teacher teaching at Annandale Secondary when my grandmother died. Rest in peace, Esther Sam, Estelle Pum Pum. Right? My grandmother was a boss. She was already one. She has left me with some nuggets. Real nuggets. And I couldn't I didn't believe I could have shed so much tears to my grandmother, buckets of tears. I'm talking and my eyes wet again. Until my students turned up at that funeral and they handed me an envelope, a sympathy card. That thing bust me down. Up until this day, it has always been difficult for me to say to people, I give you my sympathy. I don't know what that means. I would come, I would gaff with you, I would get to laugh or something. I'd support you in whatever tangible way I can, or whatever way you want support and so on. But don't expect me to tell you anything about gay sympathy. I don't know. I usually say I don't know what that does, that except open wounds and remind you that you've lost someone close and dear to you. So you stop cussing this family and tell them about money making and money. And for because those who are close to this family will tell you. Up on the last time I checked, all the funds that were raised through the varying means was expended in this family's quest for justice. I could tell you because I got people who are close to the processes. But those who are putting these things out there are part of a system that wants to see this family further victimized. They don't want them to see justice for Adriana. They don't want them to see justice for Adriana. And so in order to daunt this family's spirit, to stop them on their quest for justice, let us muddy their character. Let us pelt stones at them. Let us cause further injury to them and hope that they're going to throw their hands up in the air and give up. Because if they give up, then we are victorious. We get to protect our criminals. And while this family is fighting for justice and others are fighting for justice with them, the friends and cronies, the supporters, the enablers of these criminals who abducted and murdered young Adriana Young, how they're scheming and planning how they will rebuild. Yes, they are planning to rebuild. Yes. Efforts are being made to rebuild Doubleday Hotel and Resort. I don't know what way, shape, and form it's going to take. And which sane person is going to go there to support that business again? But according to some, that is where the shrine is. So they got to rebuild. The devil's altar. Even as we speak, I understand that there are dozens, not single, dozens of containers being cleared by the owners of Doubleday. I want to ask Ali, since Mohammed say Ali is the one who assisted in getting the Lamborghini and so on, Ferrari or Lamborghini, whichever one cleared. I'm asking Ali right now and the rest of the PPP, how much tax concessions, how much tax break have you given to Son, as they call him, to clear those containers? How much tax relief have you given to Son to clear those containers? because I would put my head on a block. Because this is a member of your fold. It is rumored that Adriana was your birthday gift. What concessions are you giving to them in the efforts to rebuild? That I want to know. And Guyanese people must want to know too. We might not get justice for Adriana under the PPP. It doesn't seem so. But one of the things, I might shut him out. You manners, you want people mind the business, say I put your charge. All right, you stay so you like them bad with you, and when they're hungry, they come, they ain't even kill we talking to the city. Yes, it doesn't seem as though we will get justice for Adriana under this PPP government. But as a political activist, I am committing myself to keeping that on the front burner. And the next government formed by the AP and UWPA coalition, yes, there's an AP and UWPA coalition, in case you didn't notice it. I guess it was so subtle, perhaps. Was it subtle? They didn't have no big throwdown to celebrate it and announce it and all of that. But that time will come, I'm sure. The WPA and the AP and U have decided to enter the elections jointly. So there's an AP and UWPA coalition. The next government formed by the AP and UWPA coalition must reopen. Must reopen. I'm committing myself to fighting that that case be reopened. And a thorough investigation be done, inviting the FBI, the RCMP, Scotland Yard, whoever, to investigate. Don't worry that retired clown, whatever his name is, retired RCMP officer who came and praised the police for doing an exceptionally good job and so on and so forth. That is exceptional nonsense. How the police could be praised for doing an exceptional job, except it's an exceptional job to protect criminals, abductors, and murderers. When they were the ones who put out the first bit of misinformation concerning the disappearance of Adriana. And then they protected ground zero where the crime took place. Y'all talk to me. And so, like I was saying from the inception, who pays the piper calls the tune, and the PPP has called their tune with this retired sergeant from the RCMP. Like they call the tune with all those who they say they brought to investigate and brought to do this and brought to do the other. All of them were paid a fair price. Up to now, I have not heard the voices of any of those pathologists, independent as they say they were, pronouncing on the cause of death of Adriana. But the pathologist from Gwinnett in the US, she stood by her findings. And what did the PPP do? Why you have to pay attention to these things and then I bring them to your attention even if you have not seen them. What do? They go and they look for mud, anything that they can sling on her to discredit her. And they found the video that said that sometime back she was not following the state's regulations, let me call it that, because she wasn't paying her staff overtime. She had they had hired what I think they called in the video death investigators. If a death took place, these people had to go out and examine the scene, etc., etc. So they had to work beyond the normal hours in many instances, and she wasn't paying them overtime. And there's what the PPP was, or perhaps still are using, to try to discredit this very well-respected pathologist in Georgia. Yeah, Gwinnett. if they are not bent on denying this family justice, why every step of the way they try to find something to sully the character of the people who are standing on the side of the family? Talk to me. Why? I'm tired and fed up of so many people trying to make us Guyanese idiots or believing that we're idiots. Who is this damn fool from Canada to come and tell us that if they had searched the pool properly, they would have found, it's insinuated that they would have found Adriana in the pool, because if they had searched the pool properly and professionally, then all of this international spot could have been avoided. How the heck it would have been avoided? The pool was searched. It was searched multiple times. And she was not there. Is this jackass coming to tell us that we are so foolish that we don't know the pool was searched several times? But again, the PPP pay for what the PPP want. And all these people are taking our nation's money as given by the PPP, perhaps believe that we have a society of brainless people. We have to show them differently. For me, every vote in the next election must be a vote for justice for Adriana. And you can't get justice for Adriana with the PPP in office. So every vote in the next election should be against the PPP. Because like I said, I'm prepared to fight tooth and nail in the next government to ensure that that case is reopened. And there are many other cases I would like to see reopened, like Comey Wing, like the 1904 charges, like Ronald Waddle. There are many, many cases I would like to see reopened. And give me a foot in the next government. They won't hear the last of it. Edgar Prasad, there can never be a price on justice. Did you hear me, Edgar? There could never be a price on justice. Oh, you want to put a price on justice to me? You know what was the price on justice to my mother? When my brother was murdered, it is when my mother experienced a worse state of health, and that carried her to her grave. My mother became a weakest after my brother was murdered. An entire family lost. And you're telling me that they got a price on justice? What price could there be on justice? You see, some of you are so transactional in everything that you believe a dollar bill solves every problem. Fine by you. If that's your way of life, that's your way of life. But that could never or ought not to be the way of life of humane people, humanity. I remember hearing of the utterances of James Bond. Money is compensation, or compensation is justice. How in heaven can compensation be justice when you have taken a part of me from me? It's not a broken bottle that you could take money and replace. This is flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, and you telling me that money is enough for that? You are sick. I say don't wish ill on people, but I want this visit some of y'all doors. All of y'all who cussing the youngs, and all of y'all who believe that in political power is more valuable than a child's life, an innocent 11-year-old child's life. I wish the same would be visited on some of y'all. And I wish at the same time the nation gets to sit and watch it just as though you're watching at the youngs and you're cussing them and you're telling them all kinds of things. I wish the nation would get to see y'all in the same position and see how y'all going to react. How much must we spend for just this? I go to the end of the earth to get justice. And it might sound like hollow talk or idle talk. But again, I'm saying, God's willing, let me get the authority. And all of y'all who believe that the crimes you've committed against humanity and the citizens of this country, y'all going to get a rude awakening. Rude awakening y'all going to get. It's 12 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. And you're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I'm your host, Kidaki Amstam. Hey, TikTokers morning. It's as if that's how I conduct my program. When I'm talking, how y'all do? I wish y'all the best, man. You know, you gotta be alert. They say the young people are on TikTok. I want to believe people are on TikTok. But for those young ones who are on TikTok, I really hope you are paying attention to what's happening in this society. Do your own research. Don't let people tell you and you believe that alone. Do your own research. This government that claims that they're saints is the most wicked and vindictive government this country has ever seen. A lot of your Barjagyo's children by age, or PPP's children by age, is the only government you've known. So you can't really tell the difference between good and bad because you've only been exposed to that. But take a little time and go back into history, or let them old folks carry you back into history to when Guyana was a place of love. You know, when governments cared about their citizens, yeah. And when we were on a trajectory to feed the Caribbean, to be the breadbasket of the Caribbean, you know, let them take you back to those times. And let them explain to you what real development was in those years. Because I see a lot of people talking about development and development under the PPP. I'll tell you this. There can be positive and there can be negative development. And I've seen development under the PPP, but it's not the kind of development that really empowers, and it's not the kind of development that you should be proud of. Always it could be development when every morning or every time I want to drive my truck down the road, a particular road in this community, I have to walk and go to my neighbors who live on that road and say, yeah, please remove your vehicles from in the street and put them out to the other street so the truck can pass. All that is development. In a time when we have more, two vehicles can pass on a newly constructed road. All that is development. When there was that time when we had less, when Ghana didn't have access to all of this resource, imagine Ghana's never ever, as far as I remember, had a multi-billion US dollar budget. $100 billion, $300 billion US dollar budget. We never ever, as I was growing up, I never even perhaps dreamed of that happening in this country. But we had roads with parapet, we had roads with pavement. Our children were safe using those roads. They had pavements on which to walk. And bicycles and so on couldn't be found riding on them because they had to face the consequences. In villages where those roads were, without pavement, there were parapets where our children safely walked. Nowadays, we are awash with US currency. We are awash with resources. And you got a road where a vehicle and a pedestrian can't coexist. The pedestrian always got to run into the grass corner because the roads are so narrow they can't walk safely on it and a vehicle is passing. Without resources, we had roads where two vehicles passed comfortably side by side. In many instances, if you wanted to make the three vehicles passing side by side, people did it. And with all of this resource, you can't pass two vehicles side by side on a road constructed in 2025, 2024, 2023 by the PPP. And people telling me that is development. I saw yesterday, thanks Big Smith, I saw yesterday, Big Smith put out a number of people who endorsed the PPP, and Sandy was the last one. My good friend Sandy. One body. Sandy is a man who ceased to recognize my existence because I called him out on an issue they had at the NDC where you were serving at one point in time. But I'm thinking, don't bother me. I am equal opportunity beater. I always tell people that. If you do for licks, you can get licks. If I remember that issue clearly, Sandy was regional vice chairman and still was fighting for a seat at the Regional Democratic Council. Haslington and Moore, Haslington, whatever the council name, Golden Grove area there, whatever the council. And I said to him, I said, you're selfish. Make way, man, make way. You are sitting at a higher level. You are sitting as regional vice chairman. Why the heck you want occupy seat at regional council? Well, ask the people from Golden Grove on that side, and they're going to tell you why he was insistent in staying there. I ain't throwing stones. Do the cap fit, let it wear it. Sandy know very well why he wanted to stay there and let dry his string. You know, some people that talk about continuity, you got to stay to ensure that that which I started is completed, because if it's not completed, then other people are going to realize the flaws in it, and I could get myself in problem. Right? So he was insistent he must sit there. He came out, he endorsed the PPP. But I believe in history, you know, I like history, but he endorsed the PPP and he said, paraphrasing, that key is, unity is key. It is important that people like himself support the PPP for them to continue the progress which they have been making for this country. Well, again, I'm saying to David Ainsworth, here's another bottom liquor, telling the masses that the PPP, which has been so wicked and vindictive to African Guyanese especially, and I'm saying African Guyanese especially because he is himself an African Guyanese, and he should have seen, and he knows very well, the struggles of African Guyanese in this society. He's saying that the PPP has been doing good, and the PPP has been bringing progress to this country. Progress to those of you who sit around the PPP table and you drink the bloods of Guyanese people. But I got a theory. My theory is that the PPP definitely losing this election. Because some people, the creator knows us. And you know that some of us will have to sit, they can never be close to government. They must sit in the seat of the opposition eternally. Because put them close to government, they will be no better than the PPP. And a lot of them where you see jumping and running over the PPP, no, that is the place in opposition. So they're running over so that they're going to be in opposition. I don't ever forget the teacher girl that was close to Corbyn. I think she might have been one of the personal assistants or something to think when in 2015 she jumped ship when she went with PPP, and that is the year that the PPP lost the election. So she was destined to stay in the seat of opposition. Y'all remember she? Yes, she didn't know. I used to get some appointment in some ministry or something. But if you remember when I was addressing the endorsement of CRAM, of the PPP, and I said to you, CRAM just went home, or you just open up the door so everybody to recognize that this is home. I said to y'all that I wouldn't be surprised. Excuse me, this Sandy followed suit. Because it was rumored quite a long time. Since the early days of the PPP in government in 2020. That Sandy was a PPP undercover. He said they accused me of being PPP because I was always cordial with, what's your name? Dottie Sonia. Yeah. Because I am good friend and I was always cordial with Sonia Parag, the semi PPP. And then about 3 years ago, do your research. Sandy endorsed Ali as doing good for the country. Y'all go check it. And so when Sandy come out now, in this public endorsement of the PPP, it's no surprise to me. I don't know why y'all be surprised at these things. I tell y'all from boxing background side, I am very simplistic, but I pay keen attention. And I could see when it coming. But a lot of them don't believe they'll see when it coming. And it's not because I'm a sea farmer or I could read the tea leaves. It is because I pay attention to people and their conduct. And all of those who are endorsing the PPP, and I'm being specific to those who claim jumping ship from the current opposition. All of those, just Google them. Right? Just an example. I don't want to talk too much because the last time I spoke about a particular endorser of the PPP, when he was made foreign affairs, when he was made what? Representative of Guyana to Venezuela, diplomat, whatever you want to call him. I understand some people have to rub your head and party back for him to not sue me. Because I understand a hot lawsuit they come if to shut me up. But when I Google that particular individual, one of the first things that jumped out at me was charged, right? For falsifying invoice or something like that. Just as they did upon Azudin Mohammed Bak, I think. To GRA. Yeah, Google it and you can see. And then I'm going to Google the other one. Who said that compensation is justice? He too was charged with a number of businessmen. something in relation to hundreds of acres, something in relation to lots of land. Let me don't say that for end up with problem because the amount wrong. For lots of land. I tell you, I'll ask the people of the side and they're going to tell you why they and Sandy used to fall out or still fall out and falling out and why they wanted him to have the NEC and so on. Right? So when I see all of these endorsements coming from, I pay attention. I look to the root of these endorsers. Where's your background by? Where's your history? What are you known for? And as I do the research, I'm finding out that all of them get a little dirty bundle that they carry in. So the PPP in the next election is going to be a coalition of bloodsuckers. A coalition of bloodsuckers, a coalition of corrupt. A coalition of people who want to live off the backs of the Guyanese citizens because they believe they alone have access, they alone have right to access the resources of this nation. And from you can't be giving you away, then you're going to break away. So y'all continue to ask me about these endorsements and these endorsers. I'm going to do your research if you're unable to do it. But so far, all I've been finding is that a lot of these people got skeletons in the closet. And a lot of them have to cozy up or think they have to cozy up with the PPP to save themselves from jail, etc. Well, I want to tell you that put me in power and give me the authority. A lot of them going to face jail anyhow for the misdeeds. One of the endorsers was accused of drawing gun on the foreign land, was beating on the wife and all kinds of things and so on. The case went to court, you know. Have you heard of a conclusion of that case yet? I have not heard of a conclusion of that case. History has taught me that there are lots of people who are in the PPP camp. When they commit criminal acts, the cases take forever to end because there's always a postponement and always an adjournment and always, quote unquote, the buying of time with the hope that it is going to go quiet and be rolled on the carpet because people have lost interest in it. But don't forget, the information is still out there. Don't forget, the information is still out there. I saw people was making a big thing the other day about one of the sheriffs in town, the new sheriffs in town, beating up his spouse and her going to the police station to make a report and so on. And people were saying, and so on. Y'all watch and see if the case come into conclusion under the PPP. Y'all watch and see if it will come to conclusion under the PPP. Even if the young lady wants it to go the logical way of going through the courts and being tried and so on and her getting justice. Even if that's her desire, y'all watch and see if the case will come to a logical conclusion through the courts. And these things can happen because there's nothing like separation of powers in this country. Don't tell me about separation of powers in this country, because the executive controls, the administrative controls, the legislative controls, the judicial controls. Administrative is them politicians and so on and so forth and thing. They're controlling the legislative because they're deciding what happens in parliament because the speaker is taking instructions from them. Why do you think some bills can't see the floor? Because when them at Freedom House tell the speaker, hey, we want to deal with that. The speaker contorts himself in all ways, shape, and form to get lower than he is, lower than the nadir, to ensure that that bill doesn't see the floor. That's the legislative. And when the administrative decide that none of our friends and colleagues will be charged for any crime and placed before the court, then the judicial gets attacked. It starts like from the DPP. The DPP will look at the file and say, I'm going to keep it there forever. Or if I don't keep it there forever, I'm going to ensure that they don't see the light of the day. And if I don't ensure it see the light of the day, they're going to ensure the charge is bad in law. Or simply, man, I'm going to null post it, especially if a private citizen file the charge. This is a Guyana I want to continue living. I want a different Guyana. I want a Guyana where law and order is the order of the day. Where people must be assured as they are sure of death. That if they commit the crime, they're going to do the time. The lines are open. 6225923 is the number to call. This is usually where I leave my TikTokers because it's difficult to pause and talk with you at the same time. But let's see where that goes. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. I'm in the mood for music, you know. So I'm going to play the ERC song for you while I wait for those calls. All you are wondering, but vote for Mohammed and vote for Mohammed. You have continue to put your hopes in other people and not yourself. Self-belief is important. Caller on, good morning. Caller, you are on, good morning. Since I'm not hearing, give me a minute, let me see what is changed. Are you hearing me, caller? Caller, are you speaking? Caller, you are on, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Kadaki. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your sentiments this morning. And what you said, where you want a different Guyana. At present, the parties that are participating in the general elections, there's no future for Guyana. I don't see Guyana getting better. It's going to get worse. The fact that Guyanese are allowing themselves, all the parties, allowing themselves to be dwelling in a situation where one of the presidential candidates that we know of recent, I'm not including the governing party. There is one individual who's alleged accused of being involved in a murder for hire. And he's participating in the general election. How can that be? How Guyanese can set themselves up to such low, really low, to accept people who are involved or allegedly involved in a murder for hire plot? There's no future for Guyana. There's none, absolutely none. And you're saying, yes, most of the young people are the governing party's children. That's a fact. They don't know anything better. And that's really sad. I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. I don't feel the sentiments. It's terrible. That's my first observation. My second observation is that this is a serious call for international help on the fact that instead of bringing mercenaries to represent Guyana, because the governing party is doing that. They are doing that. They're not telling the Guyanese people. Instead of hiring mercenaries to represent Guyana, do it official. take control of Guyana, because in the next elections going forward, you guys are going to be in hell. The governing party, with all those who are jumping ship, who's accused of being allegedly more involved in murder for hire, when they get a hold of the purse of Guyana, there's nobody going to be staying in Guyana. People are going to be running left, right, and center. It's a dangerous game, and I think the people who are in charge of getting these mercenaries to be involved in Guyana, they best take a heed, because this is going to be very serious. The opposition, the present opposition, they know of the fact. They know this. But Guyanese people are being kept in the dark, and it's very, very dangerous. You guys don't know it, but it's going to be dangerous. Mr. Kadaki, have a good day.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning to your viewers and all right-minded, thinking straight Guyanese, black Guyanese. Mr. Amsterdam, I listened to that caller on Friday. I didn't get to listen to the program right out on Friday, but that caller, when he's saying, oh, they want to change the people, they want NNU. The people did not vote out APNNU. It's the coalition, the AFC, that betrayed the APNNU. So he got to get the thing right. I wonder if he was living in Guyana or we just talking away hearing. Another thing, they said they want to change. Yes, if they want to change, I think they should select a person that their hands are clean, not a corrupt person. You know, he was in the barrel with all of them. He was with the PPP all the time. Let Mohammed come. Sorry for calling the name. Let the want to be president come and tell us. It is alleged that he was part of the killing spree of the innocent black people by children. They come and tell me how much they kill. Let it come and tell us about the paper charts. Let it come and tell us about the human trafficking, the drug trafficking, the gold trafficking. How could we have such a person with all those skeleton in their closet? Come on, black people. How could we be so dumb and stupid? We always allow ourselves to be led like a lamb to the slaughter because the individual come around and give you all a little bread and cheese and a little fish and bread and a little 2x4 house. Y'all tell y'all if it's the best thing since sliced bread. Wake up now. When I think about this whole thing, I see like the PPP and that wannabe president is working hand in hand. They put up a scheme and saying he this and that, so he could divide the votes. And that is how I seen it now, because when I hear he saying he would this for the interest of the people, and like if he gonna go with the PPP, oh my, that gave me goosebumps. Guyanese, black Guyanese, wake up. Stop being craven and licorice. These people don't mean no good for us. Voting for the that want to be president, Mohammed, is voting for the PPP. Wake up, black people. How could you go about saying you coming in from America to vote for him? That is high-class disrespect. Come on. It's only in Guyana you see this nonsense. You go to Suriname, the black people unite together. You go to other country, the black people unite, but only in Guyana, you give them a little answer, and then going like headless chicken, running behind the people. Like when you feed them fowl, you throw one, you throw 2 grain, and the whole that is them. They better wake up, because they will end up with a King Saul. And great will be their grief.
Hello. Good morning, Kadaki. I see a despicable performance yesterday by a certain social media influencer on that independence rally. Something I want to say to these social media influencers. You people continue to craft the minds of people that's going to lead to the destruction or the further destruction of our people and lead to PPP getting back in office there. There's a certain one who Aubrey Norton was out there protesting for her when she was in her troubles. She's still in her troubles, right? And now she gone talking against that man and beating that man up again in her language. And then yesterday on that thing, she can talk about unity. People, y'all have to decide where you're at. Y'all have to decide what y'all going to do. Because as far as I'm concerned, we got a whole heap of political prostitutes. One time you're hearing them Terence Campbell. The next time you're hearing them talking about Muhammad. They're riding all the bandwagoners, set of bandwagoners. And then I am seeing this, and I don't care if people are mad with me. Classism is on the rise in that country there. Classism runs things within our African Guyanese. Terence Campbell is going to want to put. I have nothing against Greenwich. Nothing, absolutely nothing against Mr. Greenwich. But he is trying to said he's endorsing Greenwich as the consensus candidate at this ninth moment. That's total disrespect for the leader of the opposition. That's disrespect for Mr. Hines, Dr. Hines. These guys who's been fighting all the time. You understand? But our people are going to play this game and see the demise of our own people. But I'm going to say something to them. Just like how I was saying to the Cubans here and those in the South, those farmers in the South and all of those that are suffering, all of them who've been singing for Trump, I'm going to have the chance. I think I'll have the chance to sing. We told you, deal with it. We told you, deal with it. Don't come to us crying now. It's a sad place. And again, you social media influencers that y'all call yourself, continue to craft the minds of Guyanese at home that's going to turn against themselves and vote against their own future and their kids' future. That's all I have to say.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. That caller that calling and talking about she don't want the PNC or the PPP to go back in office. I want her to know a vote for Mohammed is a vote for the PPP. African Guyanese got to get up and stop this nonsense. Set it back in Mohammed. All of Mohammed votes going to the PPP. Trust me, it's a game that the PPP playing with Mohammed. It's a game these guys playing. Mohammed know exactly what he sees doing. He's trying to fool the people. He's sanctioned. He know he cannot run for president. Guyanese are better open their eyes, especially Afro-Guyanese. Y'all need to come together and vote for the coalition. Vote for the coalition. If not, you people will continue suffering. Y'all children will continue to be sacrificed and continue to get murder. Y'all think what y'all doing, Afro-Guyanese. A vote for Mohammed is a vote for the PPP. That is my take for today.
Here's what they don't want homeowners to know. When my heating
Red Hot. Red Hot. Yes, man, hardcore. Rugged and rough. We elevate from the slum and this youth not giving up. Hardcore. Rugged and lean. With cultural youth, we come for bust up the scene. Hardcore. Rugged and rough. We elevate from the slum and this youth not giving up.
What do you like? Good morning.
Hardcore. Rugged and lean. Sit from well, set the extreme. King Jaffer is a man of valor. of truth and right. Would rather to go without supper so the youth can get by. We will fight for the cause of righteousness so the world can manifest. He's a man of noble position on earth, teaching what life is worth. Man, hardcore, rugged and rough. Real elements from the slums, so we're not giving up. Hardcore, rugged and lean. Real Ethiopian from the African stream. Hardcore, rugged and rough. Real elements from the slums, so we're not giving up. Hardcore, rugged and lean. From a tested extreme, remember, this man will never sell his soul for $1. And remember, this man will never ever grudge his brother. I said, remember, this man considered his mother and his father. And remember, this man will never blaspheme against no. Cause my Lord, look it in rough. We elements from the slum, I said we're not giving up. Hardcore, look it and lean. We elements who are come from the street. Hardcore, look it and rough. We elements shoot from the slum, and we're not giving up. Hardcore, look it and lean. If you can get from emergency, extreme. Too long now, they've been playing with my children. Father of the fatherless, King man of the middle. King Japhet is a man of valor and truth and right. Would rather to go without supper so the youths can get by. He will stand and fight for righteousness just to see the love manifest. For me, it's the way west. Let them know. Wow. Let me know. Look it and rough. Real elements from the slum and this song you not giving up. Hardcore, look it and lean. Real culture youth way comfy but stuff to see. Hardcore, rugged and rough. Hardcore, man hardcore, solid like rock. From way up in the hills, where the tallest tree is.
Shopping with your parents can't.
Hello, hi, good morning. Blessed love, I got red. Ho, ho, ho. Morning, are you morning? Good morning. Welcome to another program of Granny's Morning Time. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, talkers. How are you looking there? Y'all getting me loudly and clearly? Bookers, fast bookers, and so on. Tubers, YouTubers. How we got it? Y'all hear me properly or what? Talk to me, y'all. Kind of person says thumbs up. That means I'm being heard. That's a good thing. I'm not late, I'm quite deliberate this morning. It's 60 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. And you tune to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Oh, yeah, I'll do. I was here yesterday. I was here last night. How are you feeling today? What were you able to achieve yesterday that gave you hope that today would be a brighter day? I'm asking, I need to know. You know, usually we say in Guyanese society, especially, I don't know about other societies, I've never lived there. When we ask how you do, it is simply out of being courteous. But sometimes when people ask you how you do, at least when I ask you how you are, it's a matter of me sincerely wanting to know how you are. Want to know about your well-being and so on and so forth. Because you have, I can't just ask you how you are out of courtesy and not be concerned about your well-being. Understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially if I'm saying, listen, I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm concerned about what's happening in this country. Then I can't be I can't be concerned part-time. I have to be concerned all the time. Good. So let me take up my proper position and say to you, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and supporters of CAMS TV, it is now 7 hours 47 on the 3rd day of June in the year 2025. And it is with a joyful heart that I am here in my red t-shirt this morning to say to you that while the PPP is considered the best thing for Guyana, and a lot of persons have seen progress under the PPP, whether for themselves or for the society, that is still to be debated. I'm here to assure you that red t-shirt or not, I've never lost my way. And then I know among the all money in the world are going to make me lose my way. In short, yeah, don't worry this red t-shirt, man. I just come to tantalize you. Yeah, I recognize it as a little washout weather. That is the PPP, the washout party. Right? I ain't got no switch in it. We ain't got no switch in it. We in this thing together. Don't be worried about who's switch and who's switch and who's switch. The most recent switch that people are talking about is thank you, Mark Fraser. The most recent switch people are talking about is Geeta Chandan Edmonds. Listen, I don't want to say too much about the sister because I don't want to be accused of being abusive to women and disrespectful to women and all kinds of things. All I want to say to you is that is no switch. That ain't no switch. That switch happened long ago. That switch happened long ago. Geeta was in the PPP camp quite a while. I mean, there are families that one member supports the PPP and another supports the PNC or some other party and thing. I think Geeta's family might have been like that. Herself and her husband supported two different political parties at one time. And I don't want to say that, I don't want to name the different political party. I don't want to name where her husband was, but because I'm not too sure. Right? My strong belief, though, is that he is in the PPP camp and has been in the PPP camp for quite a while. Y'all could correct me or y'all could share the information if you have it. But they were always in different political parties as far as I remember. And the rumor has it that it was having a toll on our marriage because they were always at loggerheads, politically and otherwise. And so the sister decided, listen, I tired of suffocating myself and pretending that I'm with a coalition or I'm with APNU or I'm with whoever. Let me come out and do the thing. Remove all doubts because it's close to election time. Right? It's close to election time. And so from being sick in Parliament and being sick, the worst I've seen of Gita being sick is when there was that coalition rally, or we not had organized a coalition rally at the Burnham Court. I remember that rally at Burnham Court. WPA was on that platform. I spoke on that platform. I think Professor David Hines and I spoke on that platform. It was sometime shortly after the murder of Quindon Bacchus, I think. That was the worst I had seen Gita being sick. She was supposed to speak that night and she couldn't speak. As a matter of fact, an ambulance had to come and take her away. And then she had a similar incident, I think, in the National Assembly. Go and see what the PPP said about her then compared to now. I tell you, I like to look at the history to see where people are coming from. And so when I see or I heard of Gita's endorsement of Ali for a second term in the National Assembly, there was no surprise there. Because we had known she had left a long time ago. Remember when David Hines had to call somebody a slave catcher? Because Takumo Ogunsi was standing up for African Guyanese. Yeah, I remember. Right? Good. So no loss really. Apart from that, I don't think she has been active in the PNC for quite a while now. Maybe since her last episode in the National Assembly. Good. Then Champion Cotterson, I think you are in the medical profession, and so you might be able to diagnose sicknesses. I can't. I'm just a little humble black boy from Buxton, Baghdad side, trying to do good by my people. Right? Don't go on the list. The list doesn't have to be clean now. The next election cycle, this election cycle is almost done. Nomination day is sometime in July. Can't remember the exact date. And so once nomination day comes around, that's the end of going on the list. There's going to be a new list, and there's going to be a new leader of the list or head of the list. I don't know who will be the representative of the list in this instance. I hope WPA insists that they want to be the representative of the list. Right? Because the fact is, there's now an APNU WP coalition. And since the APNU handled the list badly the last time, maybe WPA should be given control of the list this time. Right? Maybe. Or find an independent person who has the trust of both parties. But be careful with that. Because Khaled Singh was believed to be independent and had the trust of both parties. Khaled Singh turned out to be one of the South Americans' giant rarest species of anacondas. That's what she turned out to be. Good? But as I'm looking at all of these switching up and switching up and switching up, and who endorsing which party and who endorsing which party, and people saying, listen, they ain't got no endorsement happening for the PNC and the AFC, I mean the APNU. Nobody endorsing the APNU, and so it's all like, are we going to stand alone? It's not a noise in the market, you know. Sometimes a lot of people make a lot of noise in the market to give you the impression that sales good. but they're balling because they want people to go and buy. And I think this is what is happening over the PPP. If I were to classify the PPP right now, with all of the endorsements and crossover, I would call them the devil's reject. Because if you dig into the past of all of these politicians who are suddenly coming out of the woodwork endorsing to change sides and so on and so forth, there's one thing that is common among all of them. You know what is common among all of them? They all wash up politicians. All of them got baggage. And it's one of the sickening things to me that they say madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. If you were dishonest in the PNC, APNU, AFC, you're going to be dishonest in the PPP anyhow. If you're unaccountable in the AFC, APNU, WPA, you're going to be unaccountable in the PPP anyhow. Likewise, if you're any of those things in the PPP, you will be the same thing in all of the other political parties. And so, I'm hearing of a former parliamentarian for the opposition coalition, they say a big one, that is likely to come out and endorse the PPP. I got a name in my mind, and I won't be surprised. If there's a person I'll tell you I'll who next. Right? ENRB had a tussle for leadership of the parties. Anyways, but I'm saying when I look at, quite frankly, what is being offered to the citizenry of this country, I'm asking myself if we can do better. Can't we do better? It's either, let me call the names who have done their endorsements. It's either Seram, Sandy, West Charles, Chandon Edmonds, in the opposition APNU, or in the APNU, and if they're not in the APNU, then they're going to be in the PPP. Is the same kettle of fish. So, in other words, you're telling us is either we choose you in the APNU or we choose you in the PPP. If I'm rejecting you in the APNU, I will reject you in the PPP. I don't care where you go, I'm going to reject you. And Guyanese must start to take that position. Why do we have a set of recycled, good-for-nothing politicians still offering themselves up for leadership in this country, and we buying it? Huh? Why are we buying it? This country ain't got no young, bright minds who have not been tested in government as yet. Or this country doesn't have any quote-unquote seasoned politicians or political activists who have not been tested in government as yet. I think there are a lot. There are a whole set of people who never see government. And they've been doing the heavy lifting in this country. Some people might say by working in my instance, working in the office of the Minister of Public Service, I see government. I was an employee at the ministry. I wasn't minister anything. I have no direct control over anything. The evidence. I ain't gonna tell you all the same story. Takumo say we said we got to set the economists and doctors and so on around the table and so on and so forth. I'm talking about the leadership right now, who have never seen government. They ain't got no baggage. Nobody could really question their integrity. I mean, people could question the integrity, but as if you're going to make any mud stick. So why do we believe that the solution to our political problems is continuing with these recycled misfits? Why? That everybody jumping over, God, the APNU will lose. Look Chandangan. Look Sandigan. Look Siramgan. Let them go. Because again, if I take my time and I analyze them in terms of what they've contributed to the supporters of the PNC or the APNU, it would be -0 for the most instance. All they've done is looked after themselves. Is it clear now to APNU coalition supporters why very little has been achieved in Region 4? When the regional chairman and the vice chairman came from the coalition benches? Can you now understand why much has not been done in Region 4? Because it was 2 PPP implants. One was fighting, one as far as I know was fighting for office and vehicle and refreshments. There's about self. I didn't see the person fight as much as they fought for themselves for office and vehicle and refreshment for the citizens, the residents of Region 4. I didn't see the person fight. One was only interested in visiting Indo-Guyanese communities, despite going into office on the backs of Afro-Guyanese to the greater part. So why we believe there's a loss? They were doing nothing for the opposition supporters anyways. Stop calling the phone, man. The time will come for call. Relax yourself. I know you're anxious to tell me something. Right? So y'all don't lose heart. Please do not lose heart. Because brighter days are coming. And I said it yesterday, I'm saying it again. The reality is, Father sees and he knows. The Father sees and he knows everything what are going on. And he knows that these folks are good for nothing. They ain't got no interest of the people at heart. And so instead of putting them in government, you're ensuring that they end up where they're supposed to be, in the opposition benches, or nowhere close to government. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that them what happened, skipping and jumping, are destined to remain in the opposition benches. Nobody could tell me otherwise. Nobody could convince me otherwise. Right? I get in a juicy piece of gossip. A certain lawyer in the cause, I understand, was promised judgeship should the PPP return to office, and see batting heavily for them, putting up people what is supposedly people invites for Lamborghini and all kind of thing. Right? Again, I'm saying, y'all don't lose sleep over these people. They just are concerned about themselves. That's what they're concerned about, themselves. We who are seriously among the ranks of the oppressed have to understand that we have to do whatever is necessary to unite the and prove all of the naysayers wrong. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Prove all of them wrong. Them who happen skipping and jumping, as somebody said, from key to tree to cup and vice versa, leave them alone, let them be. We have work to do. We have to do the work that will ensure that the citizenry is aware of the importance of seeing the backs of the PPP. Right? Kibonson is asking, he doesn't know how, he doesn't understand how the leaders of the PNC and AFC could pick everyone except the diehard members. Because listen, it's, as I usually say, people taking you for granted. Let me explain taking you for granted. And it's one of the things that the AP and UFC coalition did in the first 5 years of office. They took their leader, they took their people for granted. In that, you see Buxton? Buxton is our supporters. Buxtonians are diehard supporters. They will understand that we're going to get to them eventually. They will understand that we're going to take care of them. They will understand why we didn't put them first. They will understand that we are trying to entice the others to come and join us. So we're sweetening the others to come and join us. But they know that we're going to take care of them. No, they're not fret. And that is exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. A lot of just come people, that is how they were. Now, if I got to entice you with something to, I'm going to get a little lawless just now. If I got to entice you with something to come and join me, I'm not assured of loyalty. At least not to me, but to that which I can give you. It's like a man hustling a girl. When he flat foot and he shut tear up and so she ain't got no time with he. Move for me, you stinker. What you could do for me? But then you gonna strike it rich. And he could pelt you with slabs on your chest, bad ups. Is you I want, girl. I'm gonna pay anything for you. She would be the best girlfriend he ever had until he broke again. And he might mistreat the one who been hanging on to you when he was a stinker. Only to realize that he gotta go back to the same one when he broke again. Because there is where loyalty lies. There's where the real love there. She didn't love you when he had anything. She loved you when he had nothing. And so people say, who ran for me, I can stink for them. If you prove to be loyal when we were in the opposition benches for 20, 30 years, whatever the period of time, then you should be rewarded for your loyalty. Yes, it says flat reasoning. Yes, of course. Right? You should be rewarded for your loyalty. And let others see, others who want to come, recognize that loyalty is rewarded. And let them work to be loyal so that they could be rewarded. Don't let it just Johnny come lately. Like Serum. Have you ever heard of Serum in the benches, in the slums, in the gutters with the PNC? I understand Serum was as fresh to the PNC as Granger was fresh to PNC leadership. Some say Granger took him there. And I'm not convinced Granger that he must make the regional chairman. So yes, brother, it's a good question. How it is you could overlook all that diehard and get these newbies, these freshly minted people, positions like that? Well, Dennis Champagne said that's a whore, as long as money determines your loyalty. I prefer the word prostitute. And then I will say to you, by now we know that we have a lot of political prostitutes in this country. Wherever they tell themselves that they could get to steal or have their way, they will be willing to go. And this is all we're seeing. All we're seeing. Political prostitution. Oh, they are onto me over the PNC. I can't try the same stunts there anymore. But the PPP really know about me. I'm going to go. And the AFC know that I am a disloyal son of a gun. So they ain't going to take me or they ain't going to take me back. So I got to find a new port because I have in my mind or in the eyes of the electorate outlived my usefulness. But I still have this undying desire to live off of the strength of the citizens of the country. So I got to find somebody willing to take me. Whether as a window dresser, whether out of desperation, or simply to put up a show. That's all. We got work to do in the opposition. And we have work to do like yesterday. Stop focusing on who got red. Who got red, let us stay there. There's the right place. There's a place to them. Natural elimination. People are eliminating themselves. If you got a small core to work with, you know, well, there's a small core to work with. Make the best of it. I'm forever proud of the WP. Because we have declared our position from day one that we believe in coalition politics. We recognize coalition politics as the thing to save Guyana, and we are committed to coalition politics. And for the reason we really don't fight for position and who's going to get this position and who's going to get that position and who must get this position or we in playing. If we can't get this, we in playing. No. We have always, up until now, put the interest of Guyana and Guyanese at heart in front. And if you are still looking, to see where your best interest lies, then you could continue looking. But don't forget the stork and the frogs. The frogs insisted that they want a king that didn't look like them. The frogs insisted they want a king that didn't look like them. And day by day, the population was dwindling because a king that didn't look like them was not looking out for them, at least not to take care of them. Is that what you want to find yourself in? You see him at daylight and still want to wait for night to look for him a juggler? Then be my guest. Do just that. All who believe that Mohammed is the answer to the problems, vote for Mohammed, man. All who believe that the people's movement is the answer to your problem, vote for the people's movement. All who believe that the PPP civic with all of the rejects and the tainted ship hoppers and jumpers, there we go with another word associated with prostitution, Denny's, ship jumper. You know, I go up here in a jumping ship. When you're in a jumping ship, you're a prostitute. And y'all don't tell me you're being sexist because they got male and female prostitutes, right? It's the oldest profession, they say, though, according to the Bible. So you can't get rid of prostitution. Yeah. So if you believe that your salvation lies with the people's movement, by all means. But when you wake up the morning after the election And you realize the little chance that you had to put the PPP out of power, if you had consolidated all of your votes, has been squandered because you decide that you want to split the vote. Don't blame anybody but yourself. Don't blame anybody but yourself. Because here, what my theory is. If we continue down this line, when elections finish, listen, man. When elections finish, this is what you're going to find. In the opposition or the current opposition benches, with all of the splinter party and splinter group and splinter this and splinter this and splinter the other, you'll find that they might very well have a majority in parliament. But since the PPP didn't splintering this and splintering that and splintering the other, they would have the largest block of votes from the election. You know what the largest block of vote from the election guarantees you? The government. The government. So they're going to still be in control of the national powers that they're doing all that they wish to do with and keep you in poverty. They're going to still be in control of the police force that they're using to brutalize you. They're going to still be in control of the DPP and the army and even some members of the judiciary to take away your rights. In the National Assembly, the opposition might be able to control their spending. Might. Because the way things are, who is to say that they are not members of the opposition who will vote for them or vote with them on budgetary allocations, for example? But how would the opposition in parliament control the day-to-day behavior as a government, even minority government? They're going to stop them from killing you with the Guyana police force? They won't have executive power, so they can't do that. It's the PPP one things. They're going to stop them from awarding multi-billion-dollar contracts to their friends, favorite, and families. They got executive power. So let me continue to be foolish and talk about minority government without really and truly examining the implications of a minority government. The reality is that the constitution of this country is so backward, quite frankly. When it comes to governance, that even a minority government gets its way in this society. If you want change, if you want real change, you have to fire the government. And we ain't firing no government if we continue with this nonsense. I want to be the president. If I can't be the president, I go and form my own party. And if I can't be the Home Affairs Minister, I go and form my own party. And if I can't be the Finance Minister, I go and form my own party. And so everybody forming their own party with the hope that they're going to, and not even win, they're going to get to be the head of their own party. We have to be more about service than self. That's all I'm saying. It is time for political leaders in this country put the people first. Among those that I see in this country who I believe will put the people first are those in the WPA. At least I I'm from the WP, and I am convicted to put the people first. If your people are comfortable, you too will become comfortable. And this nonsense about kowtowing and bending over backward to please other people because you want them in your camp, forget that nonsense. Forget that nonsense. If they want to be in your camp, they're going to come to your camp anyhow. And so I'm repeating it. Not that you got bite or anybody got bite. For me, you want to consolidate the opposition support base, put Aubrey Norton as presidential candidate or whoever you want, put David Hines as prime ministerial candidate. The largest chunk of the support for the APNU comes from among Afro-Guyanese. And Afro-Guyanese leaders must say to them that we are ready to lead and we're ready to represent your cause and we don't care what anybody else thinks. First and foremost. Then they must say to this nation, not because we are African Guyanese as leaders, we will disregard and disrespect the rights of others in the society. Your needs will be catered to also. But we trust ourselves to look after the interests of everyone because we've seen, history has shown us that nobody except us looks after the interests of everyone. That's my thesis. It's as simple as that. I ain't superior to you, but I trust me to take care of me and take care of you. But so far, the evidence has shown that I can't trust you to take care of you and take care of me. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call you. Tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. It is 22 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. I know that I've seen some early voice notes. And so I would want to play them for you. So let's get to them. Talkers! What's going on for y'all? Call on, good morning. Call on, good morning. Caller, are you speaking? I'm not hearing the caller. Is the caller hearing me? Hello? Viewers, if you can hear the caller, give me a thumbs up because I'm not hearing the caller. Okay. All I wish you would call back. Call here live, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kanaki. A blessed morning to you and your viewing public. My point is this morning. I want to leave the PNC and the coalition. Let them go. It's for the better good. Because we're going into a critical election period. And we don't want nobody backbiting and pulling down like what happened in the last election. We had enough of them. And everybody was going showing up two colors. They're only for their personal benefit. Let's look and see what we're in the contribute to the party since we're in opposition. really working silently. Look at all who leave. Look at what they contribute since we in opposition. This is my point this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. And point well taken. The lines remain open. 62259 is the number to call you. Tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Can't let me targeting, man.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good
Call you on. Good morning.
A lot of people who want to be part of your team. We need your manifesto. We need to see your plan. I mean, whoever wants to jump ship, let them do it. We want to see what the WPA, with its coalition, if they will, what do they have to offer the Guyanese people? Because as you said, from what I'm seeing, there is no other opposition that has a backbone in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. None. None of them will seek justice for the 1,400 murders that took place under the ruling governing regime right now. In disbanding the police force, none of them will. They're all about self. Who has no status at all in Guyana, but wants to be presidential candidate. Accused, hire for more candidates. All of them want to be presidential candidate. No backbone. Which one of them, ask which one of them will seek justice for the Guyanese people? Which one? The only party that I see that will carry out that mandate is the WPA. Because they have been always for the people. Not about self, for the people. And really, one people, one nation, one destiny. The present, I'm telling you, I could understand the predicament that the ruling opposition is in presently. I could understand that. They have no control of nothing. The kleptomania regime that they have right now, they're in charge. They have the keys to the purse of the Guyanese people, the taxpayers. So, in a sense, you have to understand the position that they're in. Kadaki, I need to see the manifesto of the WPA. It should be preached from now until election day. We have to do it. Let the people see what you have to offer. Because there's nothing else out there that people should be. Everybody fussing around who's going to be president for the people. But what do they have? Or what have they put out there to show the Guyanese people the reason for voting for them? Nothing. They're watching the big fat dollars in front of them. They're watching the natural resources fund. Those same kid jumpers you watch them, and they're not kid jumpers. That's a decent word for them. They're brown nosers. Those are the ones that lick asses. That's the name for them. They're brown nose. They're just waiting for the gas to come out, and they're there to soup it up. That's what they are. Traitors. They should never be trusted. Don't take them back. Don't take them in the WPA. Brown nosers. That's what you call them. Slickers. That's what they are.
Thank you, caller.
Have a good day, Mr. Kodaki.
Thank you, caller. The caller wants to know what is WPA's manifesto. Well, let me tell you the broad platforms that WPA will endeavor to represent and is representing right now. The empowerment of the poor and powerless through poverty alleviation measures, such as cash transfers by law. Now, nobody waking up and feeling like they want to get $100,000 for this year until there's a one-off, and when they win the election, you get the next $100,000. So, no. WPA is standing for empowering the poor and powerless through poverty alleviation. Caller, hold the line. Caller, hold the line. Through poverty alleviation. And one of the methods we seek to use or we seek to utilize, caller, you need to mute your mic. Caller, mute your microphone.
Okay.
It's cash transfer by law. We're going to make this thing law that citizens are entitled to a direct cash transfer from the oil wealth. The other platform is improved access to education towards the accomplishment of universal literacy. Y'all like to talk, people like to say WPA is the party of intellectuals. WPA doesn't only want to be the party of intellectuals. WPA wants every single Guyanese to be an intellect. They must have functional literacy. They must be educated. That is how you build a society. Education is what will build a society. Universal health care as a human right. Not you can get health care if you could afford to pay at private hospitals. WPA will strive to ensure that even the public hospitals are well maintained and equipped. We got high income, we could do it. Constitutional reform to democratize governance and ensure electoral integrity. Again, for too long, this matter of reforming the constitution to hold the government, to hold president and members of the government accountable has been dangled in front of us. Every time election come around, somebody telling about constitutional reform, and when they sit in the seat of office, they do nothing to realize it. WPA, if you go back to its early days up until now, has been championing the cause of constitutional reform, and we will continue to champion the cause. Because we believe that there should be people's power and no dictator. A diversification of the economy to ensure that we don't only depend on oil, because oil is a finite resource. It can done at some time. What happens when the oil is finished? Guyanese must go back to being poor and oppressed. Trinidad is a good example of what you end up with when you don't manage oil resources in a way that, you know, takes care of the future. Let me call it that. You have to ensure that you use the resources you have now and invest it in sectors that are sustainable for the rest of eternity. Because oil definitely is not sustainable for the rest of eternity. Eradication of judicial killings. People who are supposed to serve and protect must be held accountable. Reform of the police force to ensure that it is the police service and it is protecting and serving. And extrajudicial killings are called to account. Coroner's inquests are held. These are some of the platforms that the WPA intends to represent in government. Restoration of collective bargaining. Not no imposition of what teachers and other public servants will be paid. Respect for unions. Unions have a right to speak as a workers' representative. You want a manifesto? Those are some of the things that the WPA will represent in government. Right? If WPA is in a coalition, WPA naturally will not be issuing an individual manifesto, but it will represent themes and areas that must be included in the manifesto of any government that it is a part of. Right? Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on. Caller, you can unmute now. You're on.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning to everyone in the diaspora. Good morning to all Guyanese. You know, I've been listening to a lot of, sometimes it's good to sit back and listen and hear what you're hearing or digest what we're hearing and what we're not hearing. You know, I remember when I look around in the world, I see that it's all about marketing. I mean, AT&T or GT&T could complain about what the competition is doing. What are you giving the customer? That the customer is in? I'm interested in, as an internet, uninterrupted quality service. Can you tell me about what you're giving me leading up to the elections? We already know about what the PPP has been doing and all the shenanigans. At crunch moment, leader of opposition, and you could help me along with this as an executive of the WPA. In line with the Buxton proposal, cash transfers, can we discuss about what are the benefits of the cash transfer? I heard the WPA talking about $1 million. I heard the PNC leader talking about $1.2 to $1.9 million every year. And he was talking about, and Dr. Hines as well was talking about cash transfers, a livable wage every month. Can we delve or dissect or get into how that works for us and more nuanced ways of marketing our manifesto? A lady just called there. Because I mean, we could talk about the PPP races and we could keep talking about that till the cows come home. What interests me is money. That's obvious. That is clear. Because I keep hearing social media commentators saying that it's money. Elon Musk said, as a successful business person, he said, look, I'm going to pay you, right? Then I'm not interested in the paying aspect, but it's the money aspect. It's the finance aspect that he was trying to put across in his campaign. What are the wins? When you talk to American Express or when you talk to any company that calls you online, what do they talk to you about? They talk to you about the things that most interest you. So how can we reach the voter? Because keep in mind, an election is won and lost in the minds of the voter. That's where it's won and lost. It's not won and lost in the party's leader's mind. And what we are talking is what the party leaders' minds are. That's what we're putting out there. Forget about the party's leaders' minds. What's in the people's minds? Because when I'm standing in line to go and vote on election day, I could change somebody's mind in the line. You know that? That's what I'm trying to do. Change your mind while you're standing in line and give you what you need to hear. So when you go in the box and you was thinking about voting for PPP, you're going to vote for PNC. What is it about that we need to take on our campaign? Our campaign doesn't stop until the person comes out of that ballot box and voted for the PNC app, no WPA. So in the meantime, leading up to the ballot box in the morning, we need to be on the road campaigning, convincing to the ballot box. That's where we need to be. I use the ballot box as a metaphor that indicates it's about winning the people's minds about the interests which they pivot on. That's how you close a deal. That's how you make a sale. That's how you walk a sale down. That's how you close the deal. We need to be concentrating on sales pitch and closing the deal. Forget about the PPP. Those people who want house lots, how are we going to pitch to them and close the deal in their minds and walk them down to the ballot box in the morning? And those types of issues, we need to find them. Reparation issues and other types of issues. Once again, Mr. Amsterdam, because those are the issues that are trending with our constituency. Once again, thank you for giving me the time to talk to our people.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. We have some voice notes, of course, which we are going to share with you.
Good morning, viewers. Mr. Amsterdam, I see a video circulating on the internet with Jack Deere saying when Ali finished greeting Afro-Guyanese, he just used a special detergent to shake the hand. Well, if that is true, it's very disturbing. And the next person to support Jack Ali for his second presidential election is Gita. Where we know Gita, she already showed that she would support him. So the ones that cussing North, the Afro-Guyanese that cussing North, that better open our eyes and see who is supporting the PPP. Their own is going over to support them. They ain't got no shit about it. All they gotta wake up. All they gotta wake up before it's too late. Afro-Guyanese wake up. Y'all come together and support the coalition, support Mr. Norton to win this election. If not, the children will continue to be sacrificed. Young boys will be continue to be getting murdered. So y'all gotta get up and get. It's time. Y'all support the coalition. Vote the PPP out. They have to go. Too many corruptions. That is my take for today.
Thank you for your voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Let me speak to those people that were in the PNC party and try to step away. Step away to where they belong. Because if you examine the persons that are leaving the party, they're questionable people. They were there as stumbling blocks in that party. And it's time that they step out. Wherever they go, that's their take. Nothing to bother about. They were there long. Because let me tell you something, when God got his hand on something, every snake will crawl out and go where they belong. And that is what is going on right now. That party was full of a lot of snakes and is allowing them to go. Let them go. It's a blessing in disguise. Where they're going is where they belong. Looking at them, knowing them, that is where they belong. And don't ever let them feel that they would be trusted. None of them would not be trusted. None of them that jump ship will not be trusted. Anyhow, that's their mindset. Let them go. Freedom to PNC. Next thing. Let me speak of our black people.
When will you black people wake up and smell the coffee? When will you people get some kind of use your senses? You have 5. Use them properly. What is it? All you have to say is dollar signs, and even at the end of it, you end up with nothing. When the people wanted to go to, they did all kind of things to place themselves there. What did they do for many of you? Come out and show the public what you do for y'all. If y'all did get anything, it's crumbs. If you get the advantage with money, what is our problem? Can't we see with our naked eyes that those people do not like black people? They tried every way to stymie us to keep us at a level. And still black people in learning. Huh? When will we learn? But don't worry, there are a lot of us that trying to break up the PNC party and trying to do a lot of things. But let me tell you, they will regret it in the lifetime. They're going to regret it. You know, when you look at what is going on, look who are the people trying to sideline the opposition. Just look at them. Those are people like us who should have been standing in unity. But what? They don't have y'all interest at heart. They want power. It's power those people looking for. All them were jumping for farm this party and that party, and I'm not going with the PNC, and I don't want to go with the PNC. They're looking for power. They've been looking for you and me, the smaller man. We're going to remain right where we're there. Whether they go in today, tomorrow, or whatever. People, especially poor people in the country, as they got me. Think. And think again before you put your vote. Many of them don't have our interest at heart. If they had our interest at heart, they would go into that party smiling the way through, whether they become minister of war or minister of what or whatever. They would take their position humbly and don't fight for it. But them fighting for whatever position and power, they have nobody interested at heart. They're looking after themselves. Black people wake up and see why it's in. Don't take lamp for look straight in the night. When you see it in the day, be sensible. Think of your future and your children's future. How will we get there when we're going to sit down to think stupidly? All them people who got the money already and them think they're going to give y'all it, they're going to take your vote and they're going to give you the money. If they give you, then they comes. I rest my case here this morning. Let me look and
Yadaki, good morning to you and to all of our faithful and loyal listeners. Here's something. This morning you made me feel so good. The things that you were saying about Marmin, I am so glad that you are enlightening this public. When I'm looking at your program, I have a speaker box. I just put it on the veranda. So I don't just be enlightening myself, but my neighbors too. When I'm listening to past, when I have program, my speaker box does be on the veranda. And it plays so that the neighborhood could hear what you guys are saying. And what you're saying this morning about Marmin is a breath of fresh air. That is something that really makes me feel, my ears feel good. Can I just tell my sons, my children the same thing. I have my sons and my daughters, they're adults, teenagers and adults, but they reach an age to vote. And most of them are talking about Marmin, new face and new face, right? But I just try to enlighten them to show them where they would be voting to keep the PPP in power. If you vote anything else besides APNO, you understand? I try to show them. How do you know that Marmin is not there for, like what you say, the immunity? There are things that I hear critics saying. You see him coming out and say, well, definitely accuse, but in a way he's accusing, right? He's accusing the Marmins of murder, he's accusing them of a lot of things. Critics were with these people for at least 5 years. He has to know something. You see? He has to know something. But because he may not be able to prove certain things, make him can't come out plain and say it. You see? But how could you trust somebody like that when the US sanctioned that person? And the US didn't sanction him for doing anything to the US. The sanction was for things that he did to Guyana, to us Guyanese. Defrauding the tax system of Guyana. Taking Guyana's gold out illegally. These are not things that he did to the US. The US didn't have to sanction him because he didn't do nothing to them. But these things that he did to us, how do we not know, putting this man there, what could happen? We had so much things during the killing spree, during the crime. We had so much things that this man went for it. How could our young black brothers and sisters forget? We, the older ones, got to keep enlightening them, keep these things on the front burner, let them know you cannot waste your vote, because you'll be wasting your vote. And even if this man should win the presidency, then they will see the real true colors of these forces. I'm not saying that he may not be what he's claiming to be now, because people could change. People could be reformed. You understand? But at least I would not trust that. I would not trust that, not at this crucial time. Not at this crucial time. You can't. Don't give Mohammed your vote. Give your vote to APNU, because you got to get rid of the PPP. And the AFC, no, let it try. If they cannot collate, let them try on their own. But don't give AFC, neither Mohammed your vote. Give your vote to APNU. Thank you.
Good morning, Kadaki. You and the viewers, especially, I would say, like my brother, especially my African brothers and sisters. This morning, this course is a wonderful one. I would like to add my 2 bit to this morning's discourse. First and foremost, let us use the term of our old people, I would say, not directly ancestors, but those who have gone. You know, from the Indian point of view, they used to say Chalajai. That means happy traveling. And our African people used to say happy rhythms. And so let us not debate or feel depressed about those evil, self-centered individuals who have left the party. They are now showing their real colors. They were some of the destructors, the saboteurs of the PNC APNU. Granger was very foolish in having those sets of people around him. Anyhow, that is history. Let them go, and I expect a few more to go. What I am more or less interested in is that by God's grace, he permit Mr. Norton to become the next president of this country. I will lead a protest against him if he only receive back those people into the fold. I will lead a protest against that. They have done enough destruction to the PNC and the PPP and the PNC and APNU. And they must be forgotten for the rest of their lives. They are worse than traitors. You know, you hear some of them being promised fancy position, magistrate and judge and all fancy story. Isn't that selfish, my brother? Why these African people mainly are so gullible? Our ancestors struggled to make this country with nothing, and they stuck together. And now these who are supposed to carry on are selling out. Anyhow, God is the judge, and he will reward them accordingly. I must say thanks to you, your leader, Brother David Hines, and the rest of the party for standing strong, you know. And I'm hoping that Nigel London will step out of his cocoon and endorse and come over here. Because I heard one of his right-hand person says, over his dead body, he will not collate with the PNC. Well, Nigel, I'm hoping that you become a man. Because this fight is not about party. This fight is about removing the PPP and putting systems in place for the betterment of all Guyanese. We are focusing more or less on the African man because he's the greatest being, he is the most that is being victimized, oppressed, sabotaged, and everything else. But there are other folks within the community who are also suffering. And so we need a very strong collative body that can fight for the benefit of all peoples. Mr. My brother from that Frying franchise, I hope he also endorse. This thing is not about position, this thing is about the people, and I'm begging and endorse and company. Because I heard one of his right-hand person says, over his dead body, he will not collate with the PNC. People are not all those who are out there suggesting to the world that they are political leaders and they
Hello? Hello? Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Happy Tuesday. Thank God for what I pray and ask God for. For the Lord bless me with a spirit of remembrance. I came out earlier on this program and let you guys know that God said all who working behind Abinat, He's going to spit them out before the next election. Nobody believes Flash Garden. My grandmother teach me, young man, as you're growing up, don't let nothing surprise you, more you live, more you see, more you learn, and more you will hear. These people them will have to come with that words have to come to pass. And all of them, and we said it again, Niger Youth and AFC and all the other little party, them all them Guyanese black people as ransom. Nobody don't want to mention it, but you always mention it. Them doing exactly what France did to Haiti. You got to pay me for your freedom. Pay me for stop punishing you. Pay me for your independence. And that was AFC, Niger London, Simone Brooks, and all them, Cameron, all them do to black people. And most of all, Mohammed and black man still are run behind these people. Them. When them are suck at your blood again, let me remind you, but I'm getting a problem. Are you hearing me good? Because I'm getting echoes, a lot of echoes. People saying that they're not hearing flash. But thank God people want to hear flash nonsense when the morning come. I could remember Randall Lane said, Flash, you make me laugh. I said, thank you, my sister. And next person said, a couple months ago, she said, Flash, if I was next to you, I would hug you and kiss you. Because Granger met my mother sick for 1 week. When we tell black people what Granger met my mother do in eat for 1 week, when next young lady came out and make a video, and she video touched my heart. When she said she wake up early and go vote for David Granger, but Miss Carly Granger Prasad. And she couldn't expect Granger to do this to all. And these was her final words. She said, oh my God, what going to happen to Abby? Because you know why she mentioned the word? Because David Granger supposed to know them Cody was mashing black man and punching black man 23 years without island gas. And now you will deliver island gas, black gold into them. And what more we should expect from them, Cody? Worse than 23 years. And what is the worst? When they kill every little baby daughter, with no judgment, no interview, not at all, we're killing a princess. Black people, are you get it right? Young people, are you get it right? Bonham did not leave fools when he died. He leave educated people, young people. Bonham did the best he could for every Guyanese. Why we allow it? Them could kill us and damage us, and we only talking and sing the song. How many more will have to suffer? Flash God, plenty more will have to suffer if I don't read King James Version Bible and demonstrate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Grand Rising Kudaki and all right thinking Guyanese. This little take on Mohammed's situation. We as black people, we looking at money more than not that we, a lot of black people looking at money instead of moral standings. You side me. This is a Trump scenario playing out here. Nail you up to the cross, persecute it all with a thing. And Ali right now, Ali can't get prosecute or judge for the things them that say he could reveal anything we want reveal. Yes, they don't know that well. Hey, we can't get this election. You know what? Let me make go there. We're gonna do all we. These people playing a Trump scenario. Watch what go on in America. People, watch what go on in America with Trump and Kamala. Same scenario playing out with we in Guyana. This man a corrupt. Everybody know every. What wrong to the young black people? But the other day, just little I said showing these youth face. A big scene going on with a murder for solve. You run and gun and call black people out their name and call them all sort of thing as a presidential candidate. What we really doing as a people? Open your eyes and realize what's going on, people. Not because calling for black unity is not dissing and hating other people. We as the people in government will love and share everything for you equally for people. There's how we stay, there's how we nature. We get a content in nature and there is just mastery down enough time, but contentedness is a great thing that there's one of the qualities that nobody can take away from we. And love and unity, nobody could take that away from we. Yes, I me. But under this government, people seeing that these people stymieing and people want that to be powerful and not want to be rich. There's just with these people dealing with. People gotta realize what's going on with this banner. People running. We wanna be not do for nothing. We wanna. What happened to we black leadership? We need them thing. Why we looking for somebody for save we other than we own self? I'm sorry for we people, boy. But just remember that the revolution don't always fight by the most, it's the little that will conquer it, and everybody's benefit from it. We see it all the time with the strike, with all of these things with us go on. The little is do it, and the masses always inherit the whole thing. You sight me, but we gotta stay focused as a people. It's not everybody gonna march with we and stand by we side and these kind of thing, but we're gonna win this revolution. This revolution is a must and it got to manifest. You sight me, got to manifest. You sight me. PVP got to come out of power. And Mohammed and getting no election. People got to open their eyes and realize what's going on in this country. There's my take on it. Blessed love.
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, viewers. As we need to understand that this is a critical election. If we don't get the PP out this time, it will be harder next time. I was listening to a delegation from India, and the guy was saying that Guyana is a small country, less than 250,000. And with the rapid development, we have a labor shortage. So they will be bringing laborers from the Indian subcontinent. People understand this and understand it seriously. If people not out this time, they're not coming out the next time. Because they are planning to import over 50,000 Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis to come and boost up the rapid development that will be taking place in the next 5 years. Do you think with 50,000, if it's not even 50,000, 25, 30,000 Indians and Bangladeshis and Sri Lankans, do you think we will ever able to get them out of there if we are fighting ourselves? How could you fight among yourself with something you don't have? You don't have the government. How could you fight who will be president, who will be prime minister? We need to come together. We have to. As Kadaki just mentioned, don't care if we win the parliament, we don't win the government. We will be done for. African Guyanese, please. We cannot be jumping ship at this time. We need all the votes. We need all the votes. PPP is not going to look after our interests. There are a lot of countries that had slavery, where the black people are. They're not there anymore. Or if they are, they're marginalized. Argentina sent all of them to war, kill them out. All the Brazil have like about 50-something% brown and asking people, you only control 10% of the economy. We are done for if we don't win this election. We sat back when Infinity banned the Asians from coming here. Now they are bringing their own people with 100-something thousand Venezuelan, 40-something thousand Brazilian. Now there will be the next 50,000 Indians. We will be done for. You know what will happen to us? We will disappear. In the next 50 years, we will be gone, living as slave again in our own country that our parents died for. Thank you.
for that call. Listen, it's 9:05. I have more voice notes that I would love to play, but it's 9:05. So you know what I'm there. Catch y'all later. I think we have said enough. Thank you to those of you who contributed on Cash App and on Facebook and YouTube. If you're a gifter on Cash App, what am I saying? Why talking about Cash App? Yeah, all right. Thank you to those of you who contributed on TikTok. If you're a gifter on TikTok, thank you. If you share the live on TikTok, thank you. Just continue to share so that others can join us on TikTok. And those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, likewise, continue to share so that others can join us and continue to support the program. We have to use this platform to spread awareness and to enlighten each other. If I didn't play a voice note, it's not because I don't want to play a voice note, but because time is of the essence, and I'm pressed for time. There's some pressing issues I have to deal with, and it's not every day I can go past the 9 o'clock hour. Today's one of those days. Peace and love. Love, tough love is also love. Stay woke.